In this video 2-6, we will be looking at formulas. The I cans for this lesson would be I can use formulas to solve problems, and I can solve a formula for a variable. Some vocabulary to start. A formula is a rule that shows a relationship between two or more quantities. Some examples here, I'm going to pull up some shapes. A rectangle, a trapezoid, and a triangle. We're going to be writing down the area formulas for these shapes. If we're looking at a rectangle, we have a length and we have a width, and the area of all rectangles is the length times the width. For a trapezoid, you have bases, which are the parallel sides. We have a base sub 1 and a base sub 2. They're both B for base, but the sub numbers are to show us that they're different in length. They're different, but they're also both called bases. Then the distance between those bases is the height of the trapezoid. To find the area of all trapezoids, area of a trapezoid is half of the height, and we multiply that by base sub 1 plus base sub 2. And now that's in parentheses, so when we simplify, we work inside the parentheses first by adding those bases. Then we multiply it by the height, and then by half or divide by 2. For a triangle, in a triangle, we have a base and we have a height that have to make a right angle. And when we look for the area of all triangles, we do 1/2 times the base times the height, or base times height divided by 2. We're going to find the area of a trapezoid here. And in this trapezoid, we're going to label this base 5.2 centimeters. The other base we'll say is 7.5 centimeters. We'll draw in a height here. It's the distance between the bases, makes a right angle. We're going to say that that is 6 centimeters. And so if we want to know the area, we want to know how many squared centimeters, so a square that's 1 centimeter on every side, how many of them cover the inside of the trapezoid. So we write out the formula. Area equals 1/2 times the height times, in parentheses, base sub 1 plus base sub 2. We're going to essentially evaluate where we take out the letter, replace it with the value here. The height of the trapezoid is 6, and then in the parentheses, the bases are the two parallel sides that we're adding together. So when we add 5.2 plus 7.5 first, we have 12.7 in the parentheses. And we know half of 6 is 3. So to find the area, we're doing 3 times, because the parentheses here means we're multiplying this 12.5 by the 3, which was half of 6, and 3 times that 12.7 gives us an area of 38.1. And to label area, we write the measurement squared, once again because we're looking at the squares filling the inside of a two-dimensional shape. Find the time it takes a sled dog team to go 95 miles if their average rate is 19 miles per hour. In a problem like this, we use the formula distance equals rate times the time. Those three factors have a relationship. Your distance, your rate, and your time all affect each other. So it said that their distance is 95 miles. So I'm going to replace D with 95. That's how far they're going. The rate is 19 miles per hour. So I'm going to replace the R with 19. And we're looking for the T, which is the time. So 19 times the time is the same as 95. Well, to get this T alone, I'm going to do the inverse operation. It says 19 times T, but I'm going to divide both sides by 19, which will undo the multiplication. This simplifies to 1t, so the t is alone, we don't write the 1 in front. 95 divided by 19 gives you 5. So our time would be 5 hours. We're going to find the area of a rectangle. We're going to say that the length here is 10 meters, the width here is 5 meters. We know that the area of a rectangle, when we're looking for how many square meters cover the rectangle, we do the length times the width. So the area would be 10 times 5. So that area is 50 meters squared. There is a relationship here with the length and the width using that formula. On example 4, we're going to solve for the W in a formula. So you can see that I gave that a certain color, kind of like an orange color here on the slide. I'm going to use the commutative property, and I'm going to rearrange. So V equals L times W times H. So I'm going to do L times H times the W. So I'm just changing the order, and that's okay because we're multiplying. Now if I want to get that W all alone, I have to get rid of the L and the H. Now if I'm multiplying the L and the H to the W, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to divide. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. I'm going to divide by L times H. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. This is 1, this is 1, so I'm left with 1W. And on the left side, we would have V divided by L times H. So we got the W alone. At this point, we can't do anything else because we don't have any value. We were just solving for the W in the formula. Can you say, I can use formulas to solve problems, and I can solve a formula for a variable? Here's your output to work out before class. Be prepared with any questions.